Okay, Ronnie, we would love to hear a little bit about One Heart, just like a sentence so we know what we're diving into. And we're going to dive in deeper as we go with the next questions.
Great. So actually, first, it's a great privilege to be here this evening. And actually, I met Eyal, via volunteering in Lev Echad, One Heart, and same with Love. I heard about him before, but suddenly, the Corona is crossing roads of many people and issues. So it's a great privilege and keep up the great work Israel is doing. So One Heart, I'm volunteer. Love called me a leader, but I was called up to be part of this organization. I had no clue what it means, and I have my own organization that, as you said, what we do in the OR movement, and we were very busy by ourselves. And Erez Eshel, who is the chairman of Lev Echad, asked me to chair it with him. And I told him I cannot resist when there is an organization with the name of One Heart. So we all should be one heart in these times. And I asked him, what should we do? So he said, I don't really know because there are needs, there are volunteers. Let's do good things together.
Ronnie, what does One Heart do? Just before you did, like, what is it about? It's a volunteering that do what? Just for
One
us
Heart
to.
is every time there is a crisis in Israel in the last 15 years, so it's an emergency community aid.
Okay.
So every time you shut it down and you call up the people when the hard times are happening, and in Israel, it's happening once in a while. This is basically what it is, and it's just a platform for volunteers. And what happened to us this time, we understood that this is a very different situation. It's not in specific place in Israel. It's not a specific crisis. It's something that everybody are part of it, every region. And we had a great challenge here to think in a different way. And while we saw many organizations doing great stuff, we said it's not enough. And as Love just ended, you should always ask if there is something more that you can do and you should do. And we decided that we are not going to look at this crisis as a crisis, but and not even as a challenge, but it's a great opportunity actually for every individual, for the country. And we were asking ourselves what should be the thing that we are not going to regret the day after the coronavirus will end. And
Well
with
said.
this question, we said it's not only about solving the calls that we had in our situation room. We had six situation rooms all over Israel. And we were asking ourselves, how can we get to every person, to every need? And then we came up with three things that we normally you can think about it in not in emergency times. And the first thing was we are going to take projects. Lab is the leader of one of the projects. We are not going to invent the projects. We are going just to see what is happening and to find the leaders, or the leaders will find us, and they will say, I have an idea how to solve it. And we created a platform that people can call us, ask us if it's possible to do this mission or this project, and we help them to raise some funds and to connect them to municipalities, to whoever they need it, and to call more volunteers to help them make it done. The second thing
Beautiful. Just a
is
word about that, if I may, kind of like fine tuning what you just said and I understand it correctly. What you're saying is that you're providing manpower, if you want, the volunteers for civic ideas and solutions. For people who have ideas, you provide help either in financial ways by connections and networking, but also manpower to bring that initiative into life, which is
yes, the point
a
is
good
that
resource.
the field, the people on the ground, they know much better than anyone. They know exactly what they need. They have the best ideas. You just need to create them the right address, the right platform to call and start it. And yeah, it can be helpful with manpower, with funds, with mentors. Sometimes there were kids in the age of 16, 17, or people that just left the army the day before, and they are coming up with a great idea, but they never did it before. And on the other hand, there are many people on the age of 40, 50, 60 running companies that they have so much time, and you can connect the dots and making sure that everybody will help each other.
Yeah.
The second point was partners. Usually, it's very problematic, and you need to make sure that your own organization will stay alive and survive. And we were working almost 24 hours a day, but we decided that on the day after we should look backwards and make sure that we were there together. And again, with the attitude that you don't know everything, and there are more organizations that they know much better than you in some other fields. And we created all in all 64 partnerships during this 2.5 months that we were working. The third thing was we understood that it's getting bigger and bigger, and we are going to lose control. And we have to lose control because, in a way, the only way to face this kind of virus is to create your own positive virus. So, how can you create a positive virus? Again, you should go and find the people all over the country, and we call it the municipalities move. And every neighborhood we claim, it's not only in emergency times, it should be all over the year times. Every neighborhood should act as a community.
Beautiful.
And again, we started to match. When Erez Eshel called me, there were around 1,000 volunteers. We ended the Corona with 29,000 volunteers.
Wow.
The way we did it, it's we got around 80 municipalities all over the country. It's third of the municipalities in Israel, just to let you understand. And we told them, guys, you should lead it. We are not going to supply the manpower to you. You should supply the manpower to yourselves. And we created a methodology based on what our movement is doing on the regular days. We call it Vital Neighborhood. And every neighborhood in the world actually should function as a community. And there is a coordinator of a street, of a building, of a neighborhood. They should be aware of all the old people, of the needy people, of the kids, of the kids in risk. They know, again, much better than all of us, what are the needs and what are the solutions, because it's their local advantage. And step by step, again, we created a methodology via crisis, and it was amazing to see how people were into it, and the adopters, the mayors, they know everything, mayors, ministers, and they were, let's say, they were good enough to understand that they should adopt it and to run it, and these are the things that we did. We had all in all more than 40 projects.
You're leading me right to the next slide. You're actually like running with me to the next slide of literally talking about the impact, because that's exactly what you're talking about. If I'm like understanding what you're saying and kind of helping, whoever joined us now understand what your product was, basically that you provided local municipalities and communities a method to manage their needs with solutions of their own community. You actually allow them to understand the connection of what they need and what they have, which is amazing because it's something that everyone can use anytime, right? Am I right?
Exactly.
Beautiful.
And some of them, they told us, no, guys, you have, as you said, you have the manpower. Please send us 230 volunteers. And we were arguing with them, we are not going to send you. We will.
Okay, so I think Ronnie is frozen. So until he comes back, guys, I think at least from what we heard from our two speakers now, there are things that definitely can be implemented in other places in the world. Feel free to share or ask questions because we're going to address it to our speakers later on. And I would really like to hear if you think that Ronnie's initiative he's talking about One Heart, of how to take an idea and allow local municipalities to use an idea, not an actual product, can work. and also what other ideas could work. Ronnie, you're back with us. Sorry, we lost you for a sec.
Okay, so I was just about to say I'm living in one of these municipalities somewhere in the south, in Yerucham, if you know this place. So the network here is not so stable. Anyhow, I was just about to say that sometimes the most needed places are the ones that are calling for help from the outside. And we were trying our best to make sure that they are going to find their own strength and resiliency from their own city, from their people, from their from the young population in the city. And we were struggling sometimes, but it was a great success. And the impact is, as we said, it's more than 80 municipalities, almost 30,000 volunteers, more than 60 partners. But all in all, I think that we brought a spirit that was kind of a model for other organizations. For example, you know, I'm wearing now the Lev Echad shirt, okay? So this is not my organization. I have my own movement and organization, but there's no logo, there's no ego. We are one heart. We are acting together.
Beautiful.
And I believe that this is the real impact, that we are not going to suffer and to feel miserable. And please help me, but I'm going to take responsibility.
So I'm going to make a...
Just another comment. If you know Professor Dan Ariely,
yes,
so he was part of One Heart as well. He was on board with us. And I asked him right at the beginning, tell me what is the most important thing that we should not miss? Like 5 years from today, if we are going to ask what should be done and what is the biggest achievement out of the Corona challenge or opportunity, and I was expecting his, you know, economical answer. And what Dan Ariely said, the only thing that is matter is the mutual responsibility. And I believe that this is the most important thing that happened, and this is the biggest impact of the Corona.
So I'm going to challenge you. Beautiful said, beautiful done. And I'm going to challenge you with one last question before we move on. You talked about something so utopic and so beautiful and so optimistic, but we all know that running a project is more than that feeling of being a part of something bigger, and not only seeing impacts, but has a lot of challenges. Could you identify for us a weak spot or something that's more challenging when it comes to One Heart?
Sorry, something that is more?
Challenging or weak when it comes to One Heart operation, or things that you think that you guys can improve in the future? Just so as entrepreneurs, definitely we have weak spots and challenges.
Absolutely. There was a, like few weeks after we started, so suddenly we understood that we have more volunteers than needs. Like sometimes the success is higher than your expectations, and sometimes we are very ready for failures and crises, but we are not ready for success. And the systems and the technology in One Heart was not ready to observe so many volunteers. And I believe that you should always imagine, we should take it from here to both crises and opportunities, and to think very big in advance, and to be able to maintain and to contain a large number of volunteers, for example. The second thing, we had so many people who called us to help, and we didn't have the right match system or the index. And this is something that we are going to do. It's to map all the organizations in Israel on one hand, and to make sure that next time it will be like a second to make sure that you can match between organization and a need. So these stuff of things, I believe that we should make sure that next time we are going to be ready.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Ronnie. I'm going to show a slide. You don't have a lot of time to talk about it, so I'm kind of warning you on this one. We ask you for 3 practical tips for whoever wants to lead an initiative or organization. So really 2 words about each, and then we're going to move on to Nir.
So because I spoke about this slide already, so I will add another thing. It will be 3 words. One is never think about what you can do, but about what you should do, what should be done. The second thing is find the leader. And once you understand that you touch the need and you have the way to lead, jump. Don't hesitate. Just start to do it, and the world is going to open for you.
Wow, Ronnie, I think this is for life, not only for ideas and COVID-19
That's the
solutions.
coronavirus came to just to remind us what
It
we
came to teach us a lot of things. Oh my, first of all, I hope all of you guys are writing this down, and it's going to be recorded, but definitely, toda, Ronnie. Thank you so much for your time.
all the best.
Thank you. Toda rabba.